Hello and welcome to meditation. There may be this question in your mind: why is meditation a useful practice? And especially, how does it relate to workplaces? Like, why would Inward Office, right? We're a workplace wellness company. Why are we such big proponents of meditation? Well, if you've never meditated before, this might be new information. And even if you have, this could be new information. Basically, the very, very basic components of meditation are sitting still, being quiet, and not taking any action externally. And so that right there can be a very challenging practice, right? Sitting, being still, and not acting. And so if you can imagine, right, what happens when we close our eyes and we sit still, the world that lights up inside of us is our mind. And the truth about it is, all day long, the mind is doing this. The mind is thinking, planning, analyzing, judging, telling stories, going into the past, going into the future. And the mind's doing this even while we're acting through our day, while we're in doing mode during our day. And so there's many levels of the benefit of sitting still, becoming quiet, and not taking any action. One of those benefits is simply noticing the patterns that are in the mind. Another one of those benefits is noticing the habits of the mind. So, those might be habits related to our thoughts or habits related to our actions or things that we rehash. Do we constantly go into the future and plan things? Do we constantly go into the past and deliberate on things of the past? And so this is a really big benefit, is noticing really what's going on underneath the surface. Excuse me. Another relates to digestion. Sometimes we have crazy things going on in our lives. COVID is a great example of a time of great upheaval and change in our society. For myself, I've gone through many, many um, personal situations where there was much upheaval and change. And so that time of sitting still allows us to digest our experience, allows emotions to come up, allows thoughts to come up that maybe we didn't know were there. Okay. Another physiological thing that happens when we're meditating is that we move from the sympathetic system, that's the part of the autonomic nervous system that's highly reactive. Okay, we often we use the sympathetic nervous system when we're in fight, flight, or freeze, if we're having to react strongly to a situation. Okay, and then there's the other side of our autonomic nervous system, which is the parasympathetic nervous system. And the parasympathetic nervous system is the part that rests and digests. And when we move into the parasympathetic nervous system, one of the times that's maybe relatable to people is when you're out in the forest, being quiet and observing, or watching a sunset, or right before you go to sleep. Perhaps there's some time where you're just downshifting, you're just letting everything settle. And so meditation is a actual process of moving ourselves into the parasympathetic nervous system, as well as yoga and some of the other tools that we teach, relaxation, deep breathing techniques. Okay, so for a lot of us, we're stuck in doing mode. And I would say when we're teaching workplace wellness classes, meditation, yoga, the number one reason that people aren't coming to our class is that they have something else to do. We can all relate to that. I'm sure I've got something else to do right now, right? But how we spend our time directly relates to our values, right? We have to value something to do it. So I want to lead us through practice today, but I hope that gives you some insight and a little clarity into why meditation, mindfulness, yoga, they're also beneficial for our overall health and well-being. Okay. Another thing, too, about the sympathetic parasympathetic balance, the sympathetic nervous system, when we're mostly in the fight, flight, and freeze, when we're primarily functioning from this reactive space, we actually shut down some of the essential functions of the body, like digestion. We shut down things like being able to think with high clarity and problem solving skills. Our attention moves out to um, our attention and our blood move out to our legs and our joints and our hands, sorry, our legs and our hands, so that we can begin to run away from um, an aggressor, a perceived threat. So what's actually happening is we're seeing something as threatening, right? Our system turns on the sympathetic nervous system. We shut down some of these essential functions of reproduction, of digestion, of um, our metabolism. There's a few more I'm sure I'm forgetting. And when those shut down, then we go into just a response system. And we need to have an actual way to, our healing system. That's what I wanted to bring up. Our healing system, our ability to heal from sickness. Okay, our immune system is compromised by this overdrive on the sympathetic nervous system. So when we go into parasympathetic um, response of the nervous system, then we actually can heal better. And there's studies out there where mindfulness meditators actually take to the flu vaccine better. People undergoing psoriasis treatment while they're meditating actually respond to the treatment better. And so our ability to heal really is directly related to the time we spend in parasympathetic nervous system dominance. Okay, so today we're going to do a short practice, and I'm going to give you one of the main tools for doing this informally in your day-to-day life. Because even if you're doing something else or you're between doing things, you can bring in this movement over to the parasympathetic nervous system, getting out of the fight, flight, and freeze response. Okay? So that move over is engaging the senses. Okay? Think about like the last time you had a meal. How much did you engage your senses in that meal? Did you see the food, look at the colors, inspect the smells, even touch the foods? Or did you just eat because you're in doing mode and you're thinking, there's food, it's lunchtime, I need to eat, and you just eat? Okay, so think about the last time you took a walk outside. How many senses did you engage? Sometimes when we just move from bringing our senses into the picture, we begin to notice the colors, the shapes. We begin to notice the smells, the touches in our environment, right? Me touching the table, me touching my sweater. They bring us into contact with the present moment. And that's a really quick way to move from the thoughts, the sympathetic nervous system dominance, into a state of observation where perhaps the parasympathetic nervous system is shining through even more strongly. Okay, so we're going to start here with our meditation. So what I want you to do is to find a comfortable seat. This can be in a chair. For me, I'm sitting on the floor on a cushion. And if you are sitting on the floor, you want to make sure the hips are higher than the knees to allow the spine to be in neutral, the natural curves of the spine. It can be harder to sit on the ground and maintain the curves of the spine. So you can let the eyes close here or have a soft downward focus on a neutral point in front of you. And as you let the eyes turn away from stimulation, at first begin to notice the points of contact of the body against its seat or support. Noticing the feet and the legs, the bottom, noticing the back, perhaps in contact with the chair. And then see if you can sit up just a little bit straighter, lifting up through the crown of the head and lifting up through the chest slightly, drawing the shoulders down and back. Noticing the shape of the body here and the heat of the palms and what they come into contact with. And then begin to notice the play of light and dark behind the eyelids. Or if the eyes are open, the play of light and dark in front of you. Noticing here any smells of the environment. Noticing lingering tastes. And coming into contact with the sounds around you. No need to look very far for the sounds. Listen to the sounds that are constant, that start and stop. Listen to sounds that are of high and low pitches. And sounds that are close by and those that are far away. And then bring the attention into the body, noticing the right hand. Move attention to the right arm, forearm and upper arm, the right shoulder, the right side of the ribs, the right side of the waist, right hip, right thigh, right knee, lower leg, ankle, and the right foot, top of the foot, and the sole of the foot. Move attention to the left hand, left forearm, elbow, and upper arm, left shoulder, left side of the ribs, left side of the waist, and left hip. Left thigh, knee, lower leg, left ankle, top of the left foot, and sole of the left foot. Bring the attention to the crown of the head, forehead, eyes, temples, nose, ears, cheeks, lips, tongue, jaw, front of the neck, the collarbones, chest, upper belly, lower belly, groin, the right and the left buttocks, lower back, middle back, upper back, the back of the neck, and the back of the head. Move the attention to one place in the body where you feel a sensation. The sensation may be strong, it may feel bad or good, or it may be very subtle. At first, noticing it as pure sensation. And then choosing a label, using a descriptive word: heavy, tight, warm, sensitive. Staying with the sensation. One breath at a time. Noticing as the sensation shifts, or noticing as the mind's attention shifts. And if the attention has moved away from the sensation, bring it back. Continue observing like a scientist. Does the mind want to tell a story, answer why or how, or analyze the sensations it feels? Try to stay with the sensation just as a pure physical feeling. And then counting our breaths here, mentally saying, inhale 10, exhale 10, and then counting down to 0. And as you finish that final breath, ask yourself, what changes do I feel? Noticing any shifts in the body, any shifts in the emotions or thoughts. Noticing the inner experience as it is right now. And then slowly begin to let the attention drift to the outer edges of the body, noticing the points of contact of the body against its support. Noticing warmth and pressure. Noticing the clothes and the air on the skin. Very slowly, when you're ready, tuck the chin and begin to blink the eyes open, joining us back in the room. And thank you all for participating in this little journey together, and I hope to see you again soon.